what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2001 Pontiac Aztek. Up front is a 3.4 liter V6 and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Pontiac Aztek for two reasons. First of all, the Aztek is weird and quirky and I'm always excited to drive an Aztek and always excited to talk about it. But the second reason is that this is a very well kept example. This is a 2001, which is the first model year of the Aztek, and we're going to be digging into why it kind of failed, but also why it was kind of brilliant. A double-edged sword for sure. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 3.4 liter V6 under the hood. Well, that was the only engine ever offered in the entire run of the Pontiac Aztek. Likewise with the 4-speed automatic, but this was the only engine you could get. The 3400 was a fine engine. It did the job, it checked the boxes, but it was never anything to write home about. You never hear about it this day and age, except for when the Aztek is brought up. Like I said, bear to it, 4-speed automatic. It doesn't get more boring than that, but it operates fine, it's doing the job, and that's all I'm really worried about. Last but not least, the Pontiac Aztek is front-wheel drive. However, you could find them in all-wheel drive if that's something that you want. How does it feel to drive a Pontiac Aztek? Well, it's interesting. It's not as interesting as it probably was back in the day. I think we're so well acquainted with SUVs that this feels pretty normal to drive. However, back in 2001, this wasn't really your average run-of-the-mill car. It was an odd experience, and so you have to factor that in when driving it. Visibility is not great. Throttle response is fine. Steering is a little bit heavier than what I would want, but at the end of the day, I'm driving a Pontiac Aztek, and that's enough to put a smile on my face. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have three main gauges. Off to the left is my tachometer, in the center is my speedometer, and off to the right is my coolant temperature and fuel. On the steering wheel, we do get preset AM, FM, and seek off to the left, and our volume, play, and mute off to the right. Climate control vent off to the far left, our headlights and fog lights, as well as our dome lights down below that. On the door, we do have our power mirror options, as well as lock and unlock, window lock, and window switches. Moving into the center, we get two big climate control vents. We get our drive info center mode and set, so you can cycle through a couple different things here, which is really, really helpful. And then we have our radio. Very familiar with this radio. This is seen in a lot of other GM products from the era, so nothing particularly new here. However, it works well. And down below, we have our climate controls, fan speed off to the left, wear center off to the right, but then dual zone climate in the center. Two different climate controls for the temperature. Very, very nice to see, not only in 2001, but in a Pontiac, to say the least. Then we do have our rear tailgate release, along with our traction control off, our cigarette lighter, and the shifter. The shifter is very plasticky, very GM. And off to the right, we have cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' model test here in the Pontiac Aztek from 2001. And just like the other one we reviewed here on the channel at 2004, it also passes when you remove the cup liners. Then we have the center console, which has a fun little party trick to it because it also doubles as a cooler. You can actually remove the center console and take it with you as a cooler to the beach, camping, hiking, whatever it might be. This is absolutely awesome. I'm really sad that we haven't seen this integrated into any vehicle since, but I'm just happy to see it here in the Aztek. The seats are funky cool Medina. They have this really cool pattern on them. They're very outlandish, very odd. And that is cool to see. It gives them personality. Seating wise, they're fine. They're not helping my back in any way, but they're also not hurting it. So at the end of the day, it's kind of a net zero relationship. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2001 Pontiac Aztek, and a couple of things to note. First of all, I have two 12-volt outlets and two climate vents down below. Tons of headroom, decent amount of knee room. I wouldn't say all the knee room in the world, but I am not hitting the seat in front of me, so I'll take that as a pass. We do have lights up here as well, and we could see into the wide open rear cargo space that we'll talk about in a second, but this was a very active lifestyle vehicle, and I could see riding back here up a mountain or to the beach, or what else do active people do? To the mall, I guess, to REI, to buy more things, to Bass Pro Shops, to pretend that you're a fisherman for 45 minutes. You know, things like that. Things that, you know, I like it back here. I've always liked the back seat of the Aztek, and the 01 is no different. Let's hop into the very back, though, and take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Pontiac Aztek, we do have an unlock and a rear popper here on the key fob. Pull that up like that. Then you can pull this down like that. So it does have a split tailgate that does go down pretty low around the back of the Pontiac Aztek, which is really, really nice to see. Once we are in here, we do get tons and tons of space. So you do get some storage cubbies. Obviously, active lifestyle stuff fits back here very well. And you could pull out this table as well. You also get some big cup holders back here. Very nice to see that, but that is what the back end of a Pontiac Aztek looks like. So to close it up, pull the tailgate back up, pull this back down, and you are closed up for the night. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is the part of the Aztek that people tend to not like. It is a very bold look, and especially in this almost lime electric green, it is quite the automobile to look at, and Pontiac wanted it to be polarizing. Now, it didn't quite work in their favor, because people thought it was so ugly they didn't want to buy it, but it's a bold move, and you got to tip your cap where a tip of the cap is due. I think it is here for the style of the Aztek. But with all that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving another Pontiac Aztek? Why would I want to do this to myself? Well, I really enjoy this car. I enjoy what this car stands for and what this car means. It is an odd, strange automobile, but that's good. And so what do I mean when I say that this car was way ahead of its time? Well, back in 2001, we didn't have as many SUVs as we have here today. SUVs existed for sure, but they were mostly off-road oriented or luxury oriented. We had vehicles like the Escalade and the Navigator, or vehicles like the S10 Blazer and the ZR2 package on that, and the Bronco and all of those, but there wasn't much middle ground. Then this vehicle came along, a fun adventure vehicle that could come with an optional tent, had four-wheel drive, but actually drove and handled like a normal car. It wasn't intimidating to operate like those other SUVs were, either in size or mechanical operation. However, it was ugly and people didn't buy it, they didn't understand it, they didn't want to understand it, and so the Aztek went away. But now, here in 2024, adventure SUVs are all the rage. Every single Japanese brand, and most of the American ones, have some type of off-road oriented trim level. Honda has the Trail Sport, Toyota has TRD, Mazda has the CX-50 Meridian, Nissan has the Rock Creek, Ford Bronco Sport has a freewheeling edition. That segment of the market would have been taken up by the Aztek had it lived long enough. The market hadn't shifted that way yet, and so Pontiac didn't reap the benefits of a now very popular and in-demand one. The Overlanders would have loved the Aztek when it was new. The influencers that go to national parks would have loved one of these. One of these would have been great during COVID, when people wanted to get outdoors and get away from other humans. This would have been a great vehicle to do that in, but again, it was killed way before that. Now, I know hindsight is always 20/20. I think that should be accounted into its failure too. I'm not driving this in 2001. I'm driving it here in 2024. But they say the grass is always greener. But in my time, the Aztek was just a little bit more greener. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Paul for letting me take out his Pontiac Aztek. I appreciate him very, very much. I have filmed several of his vehicles here today. He has been a huge help to the channel. So Paul, thank you very much. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.